Hello one and all, and welcome along to the EuroFantasyLeague Podcast in association with EuroFantasyLeague.com and fantasy-worldcup.com. We're here with you with another World Cup catch-up episode, and by we, I'm talking about myself, Jamie McLean, and I'm joined as always by Mr. David Fennick. Hello Dave.
Hi Jamie.
Hi there. I'm quite interested to find out if you're still feeling miserable or if the bug's starting to bite you yet, but we'll have a chat about that in a minute.
Is this about the England team who haven't played anybody yet?
We'll have a chat about that in a minute. Let's get on with the show. Dave, you must have been living under a rock on Mars or something if you don't think England's played anybody yet. They've had 4 matches already, man.
They have, but I mean, the standard of the opposition's been absolute garbage. And yeah, granted, you can only beat what's in front of you, and they've done that. But yeah, I mean, last night that game, I think it's been hidden by the fact everyone was excited that we went through on penalties. But the game, the 90 minutes or the 120 minutes, was absolutely garbage. There wasn't a shot on goal from either team in the first 90 minutes.
Right, aside from the 2 goals, you mean? Well, one of them was a penalty and one was an injury time, the 93rd minute, I suppose.
Yeah.
But,
it was a very poor game. I mean, Colombia were missing their star man, but yeah, they've beaten what's in front of them. And really, when you look at the draw now, they could get someone easy in the quarter and semi, so they could be in the final without playing anybody.
Well, we'll see about that.
Can they win it? I don't think so.
No, well, I've got to admit, I still stand by it that I don't think so. But we might as well get straight into it. On last week's episode, we were talking with Lee Stubbs, and I agreed with Lee that England shouldn't be playing for second. They should be playing to win the group, and you said otherwise. And while I stand by that agreement, I have to admit it did very much look like England did what you predicted they were going to do. The media
I think it was easier for them to finish second, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, I mean, they came out in the media and said, look, we're going to play, we want to keep the momentum going and all of that, and everyone was thinking, all right, fair enough, yeah, good lads. And then they quite clearly went out there to finish second, didn't they? Former Sunderland loanee Adnan Januzaj was clearly not quite clever enough to realise that Belgium might have preferred to lose that one as well.
No, it was a great finish, wasn't it?
It was a fantastic
Another thing I sort of told you so with you and Stubbsy was they would make the changes, and he was saying they'd play Harry Kane and all that, and I was saying no.
Well, yeah, I mean, I stayed out of that chat.
I was proved right, wasn't I?
Well, yeah.
The thing is, in this momentum, I mean, it's still all right for the England players that came back in because they won the 2 games, you know.
Yeah.
So it's all right to bring in players. Sorry, shall I say that? Have lost the game against Belgium because they weren't playing in the game last night, or not many of them anyway.
Yeah, well, that's right. I mean, it was pretty much back to full strength, and things did look good when Harry Kane put that penalty away. But then, right at the end, Yerry Mina, the Barcelona defender, just popped up and headed it into the net. That was
because they scored off that corner, Jordan Pickford got no credit for the incredible save he made to push it away
immediately before that. Yeah, well, when he made that save, I actually turned to my wife and I said, right, that's an absolute world-class save from Pickford. I bet Colombia score here. And,
did you?
Yeah, I did. And yes, and so
your wife
so
was with you,
to be
not the
landlady.
Case.
No, I was with my wife last night. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, the landlady's back in Portugal.
Things are looking up.
Ships that pass in the night, mate. But
yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, Jordan Pickford deserves great credit. The hand of Jord, of course, for pulling off that save. Because especially when you watch that back in slow motion, that was lightning reactions from him, really, wasn't it? He was just diving immediately to his right, and you could see his face just following the ball and him getting that hand up there in time.
It's his wrong hand he's gone with, hasn't he?
Yeah, but I thought he was absolutely fantastic. And once again, I've said this to you a fair few times. I mean, when we've been commentating together at the Stadium of Light, I might have said it on this podcast before, I'm not sure. Jordan Pickford doesn't tend to keep a lot of clean sheets.
No,
the goals that go in
comes with being in a bad defence at Sunderland.
Well, yeah, I mean, the goals that do go in, though, do tend to be pretty good. You know, you tend to see a lot of really good goals when he's playing in goal.
Yeah,
so,
but his penalty save was brilliant because he'd gone one way, he'd committed himself, but he had the awareness to stick his wrong hand up and save that one when it was hit down the middle.
Yeah, no, I really thought it was good. And some real celebrations, of course. England, their first ever penalty shootout win at the World Cup. The first competitive one, I think, since they beat Spain in Euro 96 on penalties.
Right.
But we all know how that one ended up, of course. Can I just give a special shout out to Michael Ball, the singer? Did you see?
Ball?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, putting on Twitter.
You like that kind of music, do you?
Sometimes. But what I'm talking about is what he put out on Twitter. Am I right in thinking Colombia are dirty fouling?
All right.
So I just thought not what you would expect to hear from Michael Ball.
Really.
Did
you see when Kane was getting ready to take the penalty? And they were like hacking away at the penalty spot.
Yes, I did. I saw that. They were trying every.
Wasn't it?
But you read all the Colombian press, and it's like, our heroes, they've gone out with their heads held high, and I'm thinking, no, you haven't. You were pulling every trick in the book.
That much. The lad who missed the penalty is getting death threats.
Really? Well, there's precedence for that, isn't there? We'll hope that doesn't come to anything, of course, because for all it was tense. I mean, they were tense. It was the emotion of the night. There's nothing personal there, but they were tending to get on the referee's back about every little thing. Was it Harry Maguire?
I thought the referee handled that game very well.
I did as well. I thought at one point, right, he's getting a bit sick of this because there was yellow cards coming out for things that you might not necessarily be getting yellow cards from, but it was just constant. Not just Colombia. I mean, England were sort of standing their ground as well,
And considering he's only used to Saka normally, so he did very well.
Yeah, no, I thought the referee was very, very good. Nice to be giving referee a few props. But, Dave, you don't think England are going to win the World Cup?
I don't, but I can see them getting to the final, know. But I think somebody in the final, it could be the first time they play somebody decent that will show John Stones and Harry Maguire for what they are.
Can I say something? I'm going to be a turncoat here. I don't think they're going to get to the final. But one omen, though, that is completely undeniable, right? This is pretty much proof that England can win it. Right? In 1966, Sir Andy Murray didn't play in Wimbledon then either. And they won the World Cup, and he's not playing this year, is he? So there you go, there's the proof.
Right.
That's courtesy of Betfred on Twitter, that one. I thought that was brilliant.
Okay. Good fact, eh?
Of course, he wasn't even born then, I don't think, but, we'll ignore that one.
Exactly.
Yep. So anyway, I think that's enough about England. We've kind of touched on them quite good. We've had, since the last episode, the entire round of 16 has been played.
We have.
Last week when we were here, we hadn't quite got to the end of the group stages, so we couldn't really go too far into the round of 16 because we didn't know for definite who all the players, all the teams were going to be,
Yeah, but and some big casualties as well, eh?
Yeah, there were. I mean, Germany, of course.
Spain.
I think. Did we discuss that on last week, or had
we discussed Germany because they didn't get through the groups?
They didn't get through the groups, but you predicted they would win the World Cup. And then the following day they got knocked out.
Didn't they?
Yeah, that's right.
I got that one wrong. Badly wrong.
Well, yeah, I don't think anyone blames you for that, to be honest with you. I don't think anyone really saw that coming. I have tallied up our predictions, though. We were going through them last week and we were sort of saying, it might be quite close. Well, I personally got 10 out of 16 right, which I was a bit disappointed with. I thought I'd got more than that. And you, Dave, drum roll, got 10 out of 16 as well.
Right,
different
so
10,
level.
Obviously. Different 10, but it's level. I thought we'll forget that silly match play scoring system you were going with. We'll just do one at a time. So,
I was just
10 out of 16.
Use that for your own benefit.
I know you were.
A sneaky little cunning plan.
Yes, I know you were. I'm starting to get a little grasp.
On the show, before we go, maybe it's at the end of the show when we've had a time to think about it, we'll predict our quarter-final winners.
We'll predict who's going to be in the semi-final because we are going to be going through looking ahead at the quarter-finals, obviously, because that's the stage we're at now. Helpfully, we've got a day or two without any football now, so this episode won't be out of date before it even goes live. So that makes a nice change, doesn't it?
Yeah. And Friday and Saturday the games. Friday Uruguay, France. Friday Brazil, Belgium, and Saturday England, Sweden. And Saturday, Russia, Croatia.
Yes, that's right. England and Sweden at 3 o'clock on Saturday, Russia, Croatia at 7.
I think the pubs could be lively in England on Saturday at 3 o'clock.
I think they very possibly could be. But with that said, let's go through and see how the quarterfinals shaped up like that. I want to talk first France and Argentina. 4-3. What a match.
The France turned up, didn't they?
They did. I mean, it looked as though they were just cruising.
I think we said on one of our first World Cup podcasts, they've got the ability to do that, and when they do turn up, they're one heck of a side.
Yeah, that's
but
exactly right.
It doesn't happen that often. But
No.
they're going to be, if they can produce that again, they're going to be major players in this World
I'm
Cup.
quite fancying them for it. I'm
What a game that was.
Yeah, it was incredible. I mean, I was listening to that one. I wasn't in a position where I could watch it, and I just couldn't believe what I was hearing. It was just back and forth, back and forth.
Yeah.
Kylian Mbappe, I mean, what a phenomenal performance from him.
Lightning, wasn't he?
Yeah, and I think there is a bit of symbolism in that photo of after the game of Messi giving him a hug. I think that could be,
definitely.
that was...
So we lost Messi, and then we lost
what I'm
Ronaldo
coming up to
as well.
next. We lost Ronaldo. Yeah, Portugal falling 2-1 to Uruguay.
The same day, them two went out
Yeah,
the
that's
same
right.
day.
Yeah, falling 2-1 to Uruguay. I wouldn't have minded working at the airport that night. I would have quite fancied seeing if the two of them had anything to say to each other.
So Uruguay conceded their first goal of the tournament, but scored 2 and went through.
To Pepe. I mean, what a player to concede your first goal of the tournament to.
Yeah,
Pepe is, I think he's up for an Oscar for some of his performances at this World Cup, Pepe. But yeah, 2 goals from Edinson Cavani, who's an absolute unit, isn't he? I mean, I know that's no news. We've known that for a while.
But he's still scoring goals, isn't he?
He is. I think him and Suarez. I actually think that quarter-final, the Uruguay-France, is the hardest one to call, personally.
Right. We'll call that later then, yeah?
Yeah, it's not an easy one. So then, after that, we had on... I'm just getting the dates up here. Right, on Sunday, the 1st of July, Spain and Russia. Spain went out. I believe they were the first, or was that the second game of the day? But they went out on penalties against the
Russia,
hosts. Yeah, ranked 70th in the world. Our
friend that was on the first podcast from Russia, he'll be well happy.
He will, but well, I think rightfully so. Yeah, it was.
He wasn't confident at all, was he?
No, I think he sort of thought if they can get through the groups, he'd be happy with that. I'm sure that's what Talker said. And they're in the quarterfinals, and a bit of a juicy one. But we'll get to that when we come to the quarterfinals.
I thought Spain was so negative that game.
Yeah, they were.
It's like not normally the pass, but there's a purpose to the passing. Whereas this was just pass, and not creating anything.
It was like tiki-taka with the head chopped off, really, wasn't it? There was no sort of end product. It was,
You've got to have a purpose to your possession, you know?
Yeah, you do. And I mean, we've both seen that at club and international level before, though, haven't you, where our team has dominated the possession, but there's just been no end to it. It's just been a big ring road around the pitch, and then it winds up back in the back of our own net, you know. But so Spain and Russia there, that was a massive upset, I would say there. Probably the biggest upset, actually, of that stage of the round of 16.
But there was nearly another big upset. It was looking a major upset for a long while.
There was
2-0 up against Belgium.
I'm going to get to that one in a minute. But that was an absolute, that was a cracking game, that was. But also on the Sunday the 1st, Croatia and Denmark. That one went to penalties as well, which Croatia won 3-2. So,
now, in that game, I've got a point and see what you think of this.
Right.
So, Croatia should have won the game, really, because there's a lad for Croatia through at the end of the game, and then he's gone past the keeper, yeah?
Yeah.
Then a defender has brought him down, who didn't get sent off, by the way, which I found remarkable.
Right.
Apparently that rule's changed. If he's made a genuine... attempt to play the ball, he just gets booked and the penalty's enough. But my argument is, this is certainly, it doesn't happen very often, these scenarios where the goalkeeper's out the pitch, he's about to put it in the net, he gets brought down, okay?
Yeah.
Now, that would mean Croatia were ahead, but he brings him down, so he gets a penalty which Modric misses.
A shock in itself, yeah.
So it's, basically, it should have been 1-0 to penalties, missed that penalty. Now, I think in situations like this, and it doesn't happen very often, so I don't think it'd be a major problem to organise, it should be like rugby. It should be a penalty try and given automatically the try. Yeah?
All right, okay. I see what you're saying.
I think, and I'll be interested if other people who's listened to the podcast agree with this, in them situations when he's about to put a ball into an empty net, so to speak, the keeper's out of the equation, he's going to put it in, but he gets brought down. Somebody takes him from behind. I believe a goal should be given. Because when they get a penalty, he can miss the penalty, which Modric does, and it would have been a travesty had Croatia not gone through.
True enough, yeah. I think that some people would have something to say if it became like a gimme, though. Just we've all seen it happen. Yeah, not very often. Ronnie Rosenthal, mate.
In very rare scenarios, it doesn't often happen where somebody's just about to put the ball in the net.
Yeah.
I can't remember it happening all this season in all the games I've been to, all the World Cup games, anything. So I believe in just these situations, a penalty try, like it is in rugby, a goal should be given. And I'll be interested to hear what other people think.
Awarded to the player who was going to score it before bringing it. Okay, fair enough. Yeah. I just can't help but think about the likes of Dean Holdsworth several years ago and Roddy Rosenthal, of course, hitting the bar from about 6 yards out. I just think, I don't know. Those misses are quite entertaining. All right, they were misses. They're a different situation.
Yeah, they were misses. The keeper's still there, aren't they? You know?
Well,
this is when you clean through and basically you're going to roll it into an empty net.
Yeah. Well, like I say, you're certainly right, though. I would love to hear what people think about that. Hit us up on the Twitter. That's at EuroFantasyPod, or email us on that one, eurofantasypod@gmail.com. So there's Croatia and Denmark covered, and then we're going to go to, as you touched on, actually, no, earlier in the day, though, Brazil and Mexico played in the afternoon. Brazil winning that one 2-0. So what did you make of that game, Dave?
Yeah, I think it was quite comfortable for Brazil in the end, and it wasn't totally stylish, and there wasn't a lot of flair, but they went through and they took their place in the quarter-final.
Yeah, they did. I'm still not that impressed with Neymar. I know. I'm just not a big fan. I don't know why. I'm not arguing with his quality or anything.
You said the other fellow was going to do brilliant.
Well, I know Gabriel Jesus hasn't. No, we said that last week, but I'm still not. Like I say, I'm not going to argue with Neymar's quality, but he's not a player that excites me that much personally. I think there was one instance in that game where he took a crossfield pass from a boot behind his leg. That was pretty cool. That was pretty good, but that's about it. It's about the only time I've thought, okay, that was good. So yeah, Brazil booking their place in the quarterfinals. They will be taking on the winners of the match you were about to speak of, Belgium and Japan. That was Belgium, of course. So talk us through that one.
Yeah, it was a cracker. Japan 2-0 up, and then Belgium, fair play to them, came at them strong and beat them 3-2. And Belgium, another force to be reckoned with. But all the good teams seem to be in one side of the draw.
Yeah, I know. Well, that was the whole point of the easier draw if England finished second, wasn't it? They're all up there because, there's two of the quarterfinals, Uruguay, France, Brazil, Belgium. You've got four favourites in those two games, haven't you?
So really, one of England, Sweden, Russia or Croatia are going to be in a World Cup final. Yeah,
they definitely are. But like you say, playing against either Belgium, Brazil, Uruguay or France. So anyway, that was Brazil, Mexico, Belgium, Japan. We've talked about England, Colombia, but Sweden and Switzerland. Sweden getting through. Gareth Southgate's insane that we've always underestimated Sweden in England and that we're going to have to do our best. I can see that one being a lot trickier than I think some people are thinking it might be. What do you think?
Yeah, I think they'll be very cagey, and Sweden-Switzerland, it was an absolute awful game, pretty dour to say the least. And you can see that game with England being like that on Saturday. I think they'll be very cagey, both teams. They'll be trying not to give anything away. And
try and get the place in the semis.
I don't think it'll be the best game, put it that way.
No. Well, there you go. That's us through. That's the round of 16 all done. I've got to say, Argentina, they're going back to the group stages, got through right at the end. So they must feel like that was just dangling a carrot, mustn't they, really? Getting through right at the end. They're thinking, something's written in the stars just to lose in the next game against France. Arguably the match of the round, but... Lionel Messi and, as you said earlier, Cristiano Ronaldo on the way home on the same day. Now, speaking of Cristiano Ronaldo, it's come out in the papers today, Dave. He could be on his way to Juventus for 88 million. That can't happen, can it? That sounds like a bit of a snip in this day and age.
Anything can happen in football, but he is getting on now, so 88 million is still not to be sniffed at, it's still an absolutely ludicrous sum of money.
Yeah. Oh, no, it is. It's a lot more. But, literally, 12, 18 months ago, that would have been only a million short of the world record,
Yeah. Yeah.
But Juventus, a fairly new name, it being linked with him, really. I've not really heard too much about that. Obviously, you hear about the Man United links or even the Man City links from time to time. These keep coming back, but Juventus, I've never heard too much about being interested in him. So
we'll
it's
see
one
how
of
that
those
one pans
you
out
could
in the
actually
summer.
see happening. You could definitely see that happening. So yes, right, what we're going to do, Dave, we'll go for a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to make our predictions for the semi-final and then maybe the final as well. And just round things up elsewhere in football. So we'll be right back. And we're back here on the Euro Fantasy League podcast. Now, Dave, we've talked about all the goings-on that have happened in the last week or so in the World Cup. So now we're just going to have a quick look ahead at what's coming, not just the quarters, but we're going to follow those predictions on. We're going to go all the way because our next episode isn't for a couple of weeks till after it's finished.
Right, so it'll all be done and dusted.
Yeah, it will be. So we're going to go all the way through, predict what's going to happen and see how it goes. So I hope you're ready for this. I realise I didn't warn you of that in advance.
Right.
But to be fair, it's a decision I've just made as well.
Might work better for us.
Yeah, exactly. So, right then. So, quarter-final one, Uruguay-France. Like I said earlier, difficult one to predict. What's your thinking on that one?
Blooming. Well, what I will say, right, all 4 quarter-finals, I think, will be draws after 90 minutes.
Oh, okay, that one's worth taking note of.
I think if people want to put a £5 bet on, you'll get quite a few quid back for that. But speak to your parents before gambling if you're under 12 or whatever.
Under 12, your legal knowledge worries me.
Yeah. You should be betting by the time you're 12, shouldn't you? But anyway, so I think all of them will go to extra time.
Okay, well that's definitely worth
taking note of. But I still want the pushes on who you think will win the first one, Uruguay, France.
No, I think that'll do. Yeah, of course I do. I want to know exactly who you think's going to win.
I was just telling you how I think the games will pan out.
That's a good shout.
Right, I think Uruguay will beat France.
You think Uruguay to advance? Okay.
Yes.
Putting Uruguay in the first semi-final. Brazil, Belgium. Oh no, I'll give you mine as well. We'll do it as we go. Right, I think France.
Okay, then.
So there we go. France. I'm going for France. Right, Brazil, Belgium.
Brazil, Belgium. I will go Belgium. I'm going to go Brazil. Right, okay, so there we go. So you've got Uruguay, Belgium. I've got France, Brazil in the semis. Okay.
Right, okie dokie then. Now then, Russia and
big
Croatia.
One. Oh, you're doing Russia-Croatia first.
Yes,
right.
I am.
I will go Croatia.
I'm also going to go Croatia on that one.
Right, so we agree on that one.
Sweden and England.
I'm actually going to go England because I think we'll beat Sweden. After I've called England the whole tournament and before, I still think we'll beat Sweden.
Yeah, I've decided the next World Cup in Qatar 2022, if that's a winter one, that's round about Christmas time, Dave. I'm going to have to find another host for that one because you bring the mood down when it comes to England.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you're going to fly us out there.
No, hey, if we get an offer, if we get the offer, let's go for it. So, Sweden, England, I think that's going to be tricky, and I think England should just about get through that one.
After extra time?
No, I'll say within 90 minutes. Right, I'm going to disagree with that one. For all I love that shout you've made, I'm going to go for that.
So I've got Uruguay, Belgium in one semi, is that right?
Yep, and I've got France, Brazil, and then we've both got Croatia, England.
Croatia.
Yeah. So, Uruguay, Belgium, who are you thinking there?
I'm thinking Uruguay.
Uruguay in the final.
Yes.
Right. England, Croatia.
I'm thinking England.
Oh! You're getting the hairs on the back of my neck standing up there, Dave.
You're getting excited.
I am. We're not going to go into any of that chat anymore.
Yeah.
My wife did listen to last week's episode, by the way. So look forward to next time you come to the studio. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. I'll bring you divorce papers. Yeah.
Now, France, Brazil. I think France. I'm gonna get France down all the way to the final there, and Croatia, England. I'm sorry, fellow England fans. I know I'm the one that's been the proponent for them. I'm gonna say Croatia. I'm gonna say France, Croatia in the final.
Right.
So there you go. So you've got Uruguay.
And I'm going for Uruguay to win the whole tournament.
Right, I am going for France now. I know I said Brazil last week and they're still in it, but just with France finding their feet, I'm quite liking the look of them. So I'm going to go for France.
But you're liking my 4 draws after 90 minutes, are you?
I do. I'm not going to be putting money on that myself. But if that does happen...
Little Linda, how old is she now?
She'll be 3 next month, so she's by your standards.
She should be saying how a lucky 15 works by now.
Even by your standards, that is outrageous.
Yeah.
So there we go. That's our predictions. What do you think, guys? Euro Fantasy Leaguers, what's your opinion? Are we talking absolute nonsense here? Is someone like Russia going to get all the way? Yeah, we probably do. We've made a living out of it for years. We've done it for about a year now, haven't we? On here for about a year, yeah, but we've made a living out of it for quite a long time. But yeah, get in touch with us. We're on Twitter at EuroFantasyPod. That's EURO FantasyPod, P-O-D. And you can also email us eurofantasypod@gmail.com and let us know what you think. Who's going to win? Have you enjoyed this World Cup? I said it last week. I'm going to say it again. This is my favourite World Cup I ever remember seeing.
Is it?
It really is.
That's a big call, isn't
it is. I have never enjoyed watching a World Cup as much as this one. I always enjoy it.
That's because you shared a couple of the games with the landlady at the hotel you were staying.
Yeah, well, happy memories.
She'll always have a special place in your heart, that landlady.
Well, I was with her when Ronaldo hit the hat-trick. And then what?
Then for listeners as well, it won't be long before we're coming back with the domestic stuff.
I know.
And I tell you what, can I sort a team out for this year? I didn't have a team last year, and I felt totally left out, so I want a team sorted out for this year.
We will liaise with that. We'll get a team sorted, and then we can fill people in every week on how much you're falling behind.
Why don't we enter a team between us and try and beat everyone?
Oh, go up against our listeners. Yeah, that's a nice idea. We'll get a little mini league going. Yeah, that's good. We're going to get on that. That's good. Yeah. So our next episode is in 2 weeks' time. Up to now, anyway, unless things change. It's 2 weeks' time, so the World Cup will be done by then.
Right.
So that episode will obviously be talking first half probably about the World Cup, and then we're going to start looking at transfers, and we're just going to transition straight into looking ahead to the domestics. So
we haven't had a summer, have we?
No, no rest for the wicked, Mr. Fenwick, is there?
Jeez.
No, so I think on that note,
we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Yes, and do remember, of course, before you go, just leave us a rating and review on iTunes, Acast, wherever you listen to your podcasts. If you do listen to us on your browser, that's brilliant. We like the fact that you listen. It's much appreciated. But if you can just go over to one of the podcast providers, leave a rating and review. It just helps us get a little bit more visible for other listeners who might be looking for this sort of thing. It'll help more players come into EuroFantasyLeague.com next season as well. So it's not only us you're asking that's asking for help. It's not only us you would be helping. It's the guys over at the guys who run the game, basically. So it would be much appreciated if you wouldn't mind doing that. Then fantastic. We'll buy you a pint when we're in your town. How does that sound? So,
especially if your town's in Brazil, I'd love that.
So on that note, then, thank you very much, Dave, for joining us once again.
No bother.
And I will certainly speak to you in the next few days, but we'll be back in 2 weeks' time. Likewise, sir. Likewise. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye for now.